What is good, YouTube? Was you here with my first video on American Horror Story 6 Chapter 1. This is my first time reviewing this program. After season 5, The Hotel, I've got really big hypes for this season, seeing as they've been keeping it a secret for ages about what the season is about, sending out cryptic little teasers for months and months on their Instagram, Twitter, been hyping it up all this week. So we find out that the theme is Roanoke. So this season is presented in a different format to any other season that I've seen in American Horror Story. It's presented in a documentary style with interviews telling the stories in a reenactment kind of form, but it is inspired on true events, which is quite interesting. The main stars of the first episode, so the most likely going to be main stars of the whole season, are Matt Miller and Shelby Miller. So Shelby is a yoga teacher and Matt is a travelling salesman. So the season starts when Matt just becomes the Western branch manager. So the couple go out to celebrate like you would, but it turns out to be the worst night of their life. When they're heading out in LA, Matt is punched in the face by a gang member, most likely his initiation, randomly punching someone that knocks him out, and Shelby is kind of knocked to the floor, which later results in her having a miscarriage and losing the baby. So after he's recovered, the couple decide that it's not safe in LA anymore and he wants to move back home to where he grew up. So they move to North Carolina. They end up moving into an isolated home in the middle of nowhere. But before they do that, they have to outbid these hillbillies. They got this massive house with a kind of jacuzzi outside, old-fashioned style though. I think 10 acres for $40,000. And these hillbillies, I can't remember exactly what they're called, are not happy about this at all. So Shelby said the second after they bought this house, I felt danger there. I felt danger there. Strange things happened from this moment. So she wasn't safe there. She didn't feel safe. So whilst they were sleeping the first night there, they heard some like strange noises, but they just thought it was the hillbillies trying to scare them off into selling the house to them at a much lower cost. And this happened multiple times. I mean, Matt even put cameras around the house as he's a travelling salesman, just in case anything would happen. So later on in the episode, his mobile phone gets a bleep because someone's triggered it, and there's people coming through the gates with sticks and fire, kind of like witch hunt sort of thing. So later in the episode, Shelby and Matt's sister Lee are lured into the basement after hearing some strange noises. They're trapped in there for 30 minutes. After they get out of the basement, they're obviously really annoyed. They find what can only be described as these twig things all around the whole building. Obviously they notify the police, but the police ain't really going to do anything because they've got no solid evidence. And later on in the episode, Shelby gets lost, even though she's only a teeny bit away from the actual road. And then she finds these twigs hanging up all over the place. She hears some noise, she goes to see what it is, and then she's got like 8 or 9 or 10 people with sticks and fire walking towards her. She falls onto the floor, and that is the kind of cliffhanger that it leaves us on. So overall, it was a pretty good episode. Wasn't the scariest. Die-hard American Horror Story fans probably won't be happy with the episode because it didn't have much scare factor. But if you've seen the trailer for I'd call it episode 2, but every episode's called chapter. So chapter 2, which will be next week, I will be breaking down the whole season, as I love this show. You will see that the next season intensifies up quite fast. So obviously what I presume will happen next is they want to move out because they're not safe there after what happened, but it ain't going to be as easy as that. So let me know down below what you thought about the episode. Do you know what exactly is going on? Do you think there's a connection between all the American Horror Stories? I've read somewhere that this American Horror Story 6, Roanoke, is connected with the other ones. I mean, I can't personally see the connection, but if you can see the connection, let me know down below. What is the connection? Are you hyped? Did you like the first episode? Just let me know what you thought down below about the episode. War Stew out. Peace, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.